let's get some more insight, and perhaps we're looking for solution from where we are today. Earlier, I told you that the president, Bola Tinubu, has met with some members of the private sector in a bid to get Nigeria out of the present situation. Maybe learning a few things from the private sector and seeking their help. And of course, we all understand that the president will be putting together an economic team. So an economic advisory team. That's what we are learning. We'll be getting more details. Stay with us on Channels Television for that. Let's get some more insight. I'm being joined by the presidential candidate of the Social Democratic Party in the 2023 presidential election, a lawyer, Mr. Adebayo, joins us live from New York. Thank you so much indeed for joining us tonight, Mr. Adebayo. Let me get your view on the state of the nation. You are one of those who say that you can do better than what the president is presently doing. You campaign, you fought you battle to be the president of Nigeria. But what are your views on the current state of things?
Well, thank you for inviting me, and good evening, Nigerians, and say God bless Nigerians. First, I'm not surprised, but I'm disappointed. I'm not surprised because we predicted that this would be the outcome. It doesn't matter whom you put there. This will be the outcome once you adopt these policies. We were debating these issues, and we were asking Nigerians to pay attention. That there are three policies that we needed to deal with. And the policies were, one, what do we do with respect to cost of governance? Two, what do we do with the issue of subsidy? Not only petrol, but subsidy in many other sectors. Three, what do we do with the issue of foreign exchange? On these three issues, I had fundamental disagreement with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, with Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, with Mr. Peter Obi, and many other people who were on that side. So these policies will not work. They've never worked in Nigeria, in any country before. In Nigeria in the past, including when we did SAP, it didn't work for us. So it's not about one person is good, one person is bad. If you drag me into the villa or take me to Eagle Square and you force me to announce these policies, you will get the same result. Anyone who adopts this policy will get the same result. And economists will tell you, has there been any country that adopted these policies, countries that are in our hemisphere, countries that are in our state of development, countries that have our primary production sector, like we have, who announced this policy and it has ever worked? I don't think so. So, and I was surprised that some personalities were talking about Argentina. Maybe they haven't been to Argentina. I am very familiar with Argentina. Clearly, today, if you ask Argentines to choose between President Javier Milei and President Tinubu of Nigeria, they will say, bring us Tinubu and come and take this Milei to Nigeria.
So you're saying that Vice President Atiku Abubakar is wrong on the example he says Bola Tinubu should follow?
I would say His Excellency Vice President Atiku Abubakar may be well-intentioned, but is misinformed. It's an error because if you look at the situation in Argentina, we may get to that position. I hope we don't get there, but we are traveling in that direction as well. But they are ahead of us in terms of the misery. They had 1 month of 512% inflation. I don't know if economists can understand the temperature of 512%. They've lost virtually all their wealth. The person who is there is a school of thought in economics called Austrian school. That's where it comes from, libertarian school. He's slash and burn. The Argentines they cannot survive it, and they are complaining every day. And they have the worst economic performance since 1980. So I am not saying we should not criticize a non-performing government like that of President Tinubu of APC, but you do not say somebody who is complaining about the sun being too hot, that person should be put inside the oven. That's not a way to solve a problem. So what it brings to you is that these policies don't work. And Nigerians have voted for these policies. So either we voted for these policies out of not paying attention, or out of not understanding the implication of this policy. When you decide to say that you vote for a government that said they will remove subsidy on day one, which is what President Tinubu said, which is what Vice President Atiku Abubakar said, which was what Governor Peter Obi said, and we said, don't listen to them. But people thought, okay, they have experience, maybe they are more realistic than us, so they voted that way. So any of them that formed the government and adopted any of these policies will have, at a minimum, what you're having now, or even worse. These policies are not good, not because of the party that's announcing them, because they are structurally not suitable to us. Why? Because they come with some benefits, and you can see the benefits. More income to the government, for example, because of what they're not subsidizing anymore. More income from the foreign exchange differential that the government is saving because they're not defending the naira in the old way anymore. Now, so you have that additional money. You also have the benefit that your goods become cheaper. That is why people are talking now that they are exporting food from Nigeria to Niger, from Nigeria to the neighboring country, because with lower currencies, our food, other things that we produce become cheaper. Those are the advertised benefits, but we're not structurally prepared for them. So anybody who says that I will have done it without this problem, it's like someone telling you that, yes, I can make an omelette for you, but I will never break an egg.
Mr. Adebayo, let me jump in quickly. Yeah, let me jump in quickly. That those who believe that the economy was in a very terrible shape and there was nobody who would have gotten the mantle of leadership that wouldn't face the kind of challenges that this present government is facing. There are those who argue that subsidy would have to be removed one way or the other for our nation to be able to survive. There are those who will say the multiple exchange rate had to go. There are those who have said these are some of the policies that this government took. There are those who had argued that those are the kind of policies that will get our economy moving. And perhaps we've seen some kind of growth in our GDP in Q4. But then when you say what you said, that these are bad policies of the Tinubu government, the vice president has said there is some kind of politicization of this economic situation in this country, and there are those who are sabotaging the situation. Do you agree?
Okay, I don't agree with any of them. And this is the reason why. They're arguing off the point. That's not the issue. The issue is that there are arguments, but not every argument addresses the core issue. The core issue is as follows. Every decision you make in economics, you have at least 2 choices. Sometimes you have like 10 choices. In our case, we have like 55,000 choices. You decide to make the one that does not require better governance, that does not require the people in the higher echelon losing income. You make the choices that is because you punish the person that has the least contribution to political campaign. Let me give you an example. We are subsidizing so many things in this country. The only one in which the people have some level of participation, because it's a common product that all of us use, this is where they started subsidy removal from. Secondly, there was no attempt to do auditing. You will recall that I was shouting that 80% of the crude oil was being stolen. And I campaigned for months on that. You will read the news today that President Tinubu, former President Obasanjo just came upon it and started talking about it. But in consideration of where we should go in the last year's election, people did not factor into consideration that whoever is able to tackle that probably should be the person to give leadership to. So in order to make it clear, our problems are not difficult to solve. It's not that these problems are insurmountable. It is just that the method to solve them will not be a continuation of what we were doing before.
But Mr. Adebayo, yeah, do you think, in your own opinion, because we're looking for a way out, Labour is planning to go on the street to demonstrate the hardship in the land, and there are those who say, you need to have the right persons to get the job done. In your own view, do you imagine or think that we have the right kind of team, economically speaking, around President Tinubu?
He has the right kind of team for what he wants to do. But what he wants to do is not correct. So if I say that we should repair the house, that the house is leaking, We should repair the house, we should block the leakages, and we should repair the amenities in the house. And then my senior brother says, no, let's all sell the house. If he has the mandate, he will bring auctioneers and valuers and all of those estate agents who will sell it, where I will have brought plumbers, carpenters, electricians. So I cannot say now that he doesn't have the right team. Yeah, he wants to sell the house, so he has the right team to sell the house. But if I want to fix the house, I will bring a different team that wants to fix the house.
If you were President Tinubu, if you were in power today, what would you do differently? I mean, if there is a need for an urgent fix to the economy and to also slow down what has become a rising agitation due to the hardship in the land, what would you do urgently to stop the bleeding?
First, now, it just depends on when I become president. If I became president on the day he became president, I will not announce any of these policies. In fact, I will immediately have gone to National Assembly to amend the Appropriation Act and the Petroleum Industry Act to remove these statutory mandates to yank off the subsidy. But if I'm becoming president today, the first thing I will do is to convince the people of Nigeria and to convince people in my government that these policies are not right. Because if you say I should advise a president who believes that the benefit of these policies are down the line, he's not going to listen to my advice because he's committed to the fact that the benefits are down the line. So the first thing I need to do is to convince him that these benefits never came to England. England did industrialize itself. This benefit hasn't come to Chile, hasn't come to Argentina. It didn't come to Brazil until Lula came and changed them towards social investment. And that what you can do is, if you are, I don't know where they're getting the policies from, I suspect that maybe the whole IMF something, or the bankers who are contributing money to their campaign insist on all these policies. But if they are ideologically committed to these policies, then the solution they can find will be solution by way of palliative, which is to suspend the full effect of it over time. And what they may discover is that the social misery will be so much, inflation and hyperinflation will be so much, that the money they save may not be up to the money that they will need to spend on the palliative. So what I can say, in essence, is that they need a change of direction, but I cannot guarantee that a well-experienced accountant who is a cost cutter like President Tinubu, who has Wale Edun around him, and has all those monetarist people around him, who has chosen Cardozo as his preferred governor of Central Bank, I don't think they are willing to change for now. So the method they will now do is to be a little more efficient in the macroeconomic policies they've taken. And there are 5 measures they can take if they want to take them. And I've been mentioning them before, but I'll summarize briefly. One is that they must have a way to increase their revenue. But right now, they are collecting less than 20% of the collectibles. I can tell you that, because they have so many sacred cows that they don't want to collect money from. Secondly, they need to bring efficiencies in the money they are touch for a government that is running a free market economy as they're going towards. They need more feedback, more sensitivity, a quicker reaction time, which means that they need to put better people, sharper people in their governance. Thirdly, they need to restructure the government spending in such a way that they separate the fiscal policy, which they are controlling, the Minister of Finance and the President, and let the CBN governor run his monetary policy and be the banker to the country, not just the banker to the government alone. Fourthly, they need to find ways to generate employment, and they don't want to spend money on social programs as stated by Chapter 2 of the Constitution, which means they will be going to Qatar, they will go to all these places they are going, because the social investment money that they need to spend to generate employment, they don't want to spend it because they are following the IMF. So they will be begging foreign investors to come and put money in our country, money that we have even within our country, but they will be going out. And if they are more efficient in that respect, then they can succeed. Lastly, they need to deal with the issue of inflation. Inflation is the cause of all of these things. If they don't control inflation by controlling their spending, by increasing their revenue, and by ensuring that they get Nigerians to be productive, if they control inflation, then they can turn down this. But in the end, it is like asking me to prescribe medicine that somebody can take, who every day he goes to become a boxer, they keep banging his head, his MMA, I can tell him you will stop feeling the pain if you don't go into this violence.
Mr. Adebayo, just So those antidotes that you have reeled out tonight, and I'm imagining right now that for us to move forward, there is also an immediate political action that the government needs to take, and is also to douse the agitation in the land, the tension. We are hearing from Andy Ferry asking people not to protest. Some eminent Nigerians are also saying do not go out. If you were the president, what would you advise him to do immediately to politically douse the tension? Just in about 30 seconds.
Now, what they need to do is that he needs to be like head of state. The president is head of state, which is father of the nation. He needs to be less arrogant in their sense of righteousness about how right their policies are. They need to engage people, but people need to understand at the same time that you voted for these policies. So it's like the children of Israel who say, Moses, lead us out of Egypt. Then when they go to the wilderness, they realize it's not a very easy place to be. Then they started complaining. So that's the normal thing. But the people of Nigeria voted for these policies, but they're not good policies. And until the next election, you are stuck with these policies. But what we advise the government to do is to use humility to reach the people, and at the same time to show social justice to the people, making sure that the burden of this hardship is not borne only by the less privileged.
All right.
All those who are protesting, who are complaining, to understand that the elite of Nigeria should not think that they can agree to a policy in the closet and come and be making trouble outside. All of them agree to this, and all of them need to calm down and find solutions. The solutions are not hard to get.
Finally, just in 30 seconds, so if you may, please, I'd like to know, does your gut feeling tells you that this president has what it takes to fix Nigeria? And perhaps, just perhaps, what do you see for the nearest future of this country if you look at the crystal ball? Just in 30 seconds, if you may.
I have a feeling that any person who is determined to fix Nigeria and who wants to listen to all Nigerians and carry everybody along and look for the best talent, not just from a political party only, will do well. I would have preferred Nigeria voted for me. That's why I didn't support him. I think I would have done better than him. But anybody they put there who is determined to use all the resources in Nigeria to help Nigeria can succeed. And the president is a Nigerian, well-educated person, highly intelligent person, but he has the wrong policies. But if he opens his mind and tries to get other ideas from other people, add it to what he's doing, it's just like a doctor. You are going to give the injection, or you want to do a surgery. You may decide to increase the anesthesia so that people at least will feel less pain. You need them tom-tom to take if you are removing their tooth. But bottom line is that you can be kind, you can be more gentle, but there's no escaping the consequence of the policies that people are doing.
Mr. Adewale Adebayo, a very prominent Nigerian politician and lawyer, our presidential candidate in the 2023 presidential election on the platform of the SDP. Thank you so much indeed for talking to us.
Thank you, and God bless Nigeria.
God bless Nigeria. Thank you.